Solo. You know I be like this solo. Before my duty get promo. Now did he call me a dollar. May nobody call me a dollar. I get no I dollar with feet perfect. When I do with my dollar. When I do with my dollar. When I no get sick up. See I panic for my cup. Don't need so many things you done. So many things you done. I don't need fight since when I never thought it should see you stop. Stop. Me I know the year what do I stop on gun. Me I know baby I don't know. Stop. Me I know the year what do I me I know baby I don't know. Stop on gun. Don't know. Look I carry them go where them no. Make I give them this step like Bobo. Originality no be Bobo.
Alright, good morning and welcome to Good Morning Core City right here on 106.9 FM Go Unit Radio, and it's a very beautiful Monday after Valentine.
Yeah. We had an amazing time last week, Saturday. Oh my, I'm sure it's not just us, right? We all had fun
it's
in the studio.
Everybody.
We spent the entire day wishing, sending Valentine messages and, just spreading the love. I had fun, and I hope you all did too.
All right, of course they did have fun because we helped them to navigate through the beauty of the day. All right, welcome to Good Morning Core City right here on 106.9 FM Going the Radio, and certainly it's a very beautiful Monday morning. Hope you had a fabulous weekend. We did have a fabulous weekend. Esther was so engrossed with a lot of exciting time during the weekend.
Yes, I was.
And right here on campus, it's been a weekend of exams, and the exam continues today, and students are crushing it hard.
Yes, we are.
All right here on Good Morning Core City, just as we do it every day, we help you to navigate through the day, help you to understand your dreams and your vision, and help you set your mind in the right direction towards accomplishing it. And just as we always do it, Esther is going to tell us how we're supposed to feel this morning. And afterwards, we are going straight up to know what the weather has for us today. But first of all, I need you to, relax and pay very keen attention towards the pretty lady with the golden voice. Esther, will tell us this beautiful Monday morning. Okay. Esther, I hope you're set to tell us how we're supposed to feel today.
I am. Are you ready?
Yeah, sure. All
right.
I did very ready now.
All right, let's do this. Okay. Good morning, Coal City, and happy Monday, the 16th of February. Valentine's Day has come and gone, and for many people, the weekend may have stirred different emotions. Some felt celebrated, some felt disappointed, and others were simply observers. So whatever Valentine's Day looked like for you, today is a reminder that one day does not define your worth or your capacity to be loved or to love. Now, a new week is here, inviting you to move forward with clarity, to take what the weekend taught you about love, about yourself, and about expectations, and carry only what helps you grow. Let go of what weighs you down, okay? And as you step into today, remember that love isn't limited to a single date on the calendar. It shows up in consistency, in patience, in showing up for yourself and others, even when no one is watching. And God's love remains constant long after the celebration fades. Now, Monday doesn't ask for perfection. What He asks for is intention. Now, handle today one step at a time. Be gentle with your heart. Choose kindness in your thoughts, in your words, and in your actions. Remember, you're never fully dressed without a smile. And from both I and Chike here, we're both wishing you peace as you reset, strength as you move forward, and a quiet assurance that you're deeply loved. Happy Monday, guys.
All right, happy Monday. Remember, you're not fully dressed without a smile. And that is one quote
from Esther.
One quote from Esther. One signature quote from Esther. I love so much.
Well, I have my own personal quote quote.
It's shocking. It's shocking.
You guys should not quoting me anywhere.
Just realize it now, right?
I'm telling you.
But that's nice. That's nice because I love how it sounds. Like you are not fully dressed without a smile, and that's quite important in life for us to always understand that every single day you need to put up a smile, no matter what you're facing, no matter the challenge there's looking around you. You just need to always put up a smile.
Yes.
All right, that is a very beautiful one. Thank you so much, Esther, for that beautiful piece. And of course, this is still Good Morning Coast City right here on 106.9 FM, Going the Radio. Remember, you can join us live on YouTube at Going the Radio 106.9 FM, and on Facebook and Instagram at 106.9 Going the Radio. And of course, when you go online, you're going to see myself and the pretty lady with the golden voice, Esther, speaking to you and helping you have a very fabulous and a very wonderful Monday. Up next will be our weather report, and Esther is ready with the weather report for today.
Okay, now we'll begin this weather journey from the coastal southwest. Of course, as usual, we start with Lagos. Now, this morning, Lagos wakes up under thick cloud cover and very humid conditions. Morning temperatures sit between 25 degrees Celsius and 29 degrees, and from the early hours, the air already feels heavy and sticky with humidity close to 90%. As the day moves on, the afternoon peaks around 32 degrees Celsius with overcast skies and short-lived rain showers expected later in the day. Now, these showers may come and go quickly, but the humidity will linger well into the evening. And by nightfall, temperatures hover around 25 degrees, keeping the atmosphere warm and uncomfortable indoors. So it's one of those days where light clothing and good ventilation makes all the difference. And moving on to Port Harcourt. Port Harcourt continues its familiar pattern of clouds and rain. The morning begins between 24 degrees and 28 degrees under mostly cloudy skies, with a strong chance of light drizzle. As the afternoon sets in, temperatures rise to about 31 degrees Celsius, but the heat feels stronger because of the trapped moisture in the air. Now, scattered thunderstorms are likely later in the day, bringing bursts of rain and flashes of lightning. The evening remains humid and unsettled, with temperatures staying around 24 degrees throughout the night. Residents are advised to stay weather aware, especially during thunderstorms now, and keep your indoor spaces well ventilated. Now, heading to Ibadan. Ibadan experiences a calmer but still humid day. The morning starts gently with temperatures between 23 degrees and 28 degrees as early mist clears into hazy sunshine. And by afternoon, the heat builds steadily, reaching around 34 degrees Celsius with increasing cloud cover and high moisture levels in the atmosphere. While widespread rain is unlikely, the sky may feel heavy and overcast at times. The evening temperatures will drop to about 22 degrees, but humidity remains high, making the night feel warmer than the thermometer suggests. Now, it's going to be good for you if you have light meals and take plenty of fluids if you're in Ibadan. Now, moving northward into the heart of the country, Abuja. Abuja sees a very different story dominated by intense heat. The morning opens clear and dry, with temperatures rising quickly from 21 degrees Celsius to 31 degrees Celsius, using fast warming skies. By afternoon, the capital reaches a blistering high of 39 degrees Celsius with a strong sunshine and a very high ultraviolet index. The air remains dry, increasing the risk of dehydration and heat-related stress. As evening approaches, temperatures ease back to around 21 degrees Celsius with calm and clear conditions offering some relief. So this is a day that calls for regular water breaks, and make sure you avoid strenuous outdoor activities if you're in Abuja. Now, further north in Kano begins the day as on a much cooler note. Morning temperatures range from 14 degrees Celsius to 27 degrees Celsius with a crisp feel in the air and a slight harmattan dust haze stiffening the sunlight. The afternoon brings sharp, dry heat as temperatures climb to about 35 degrees Celsius, supported by moderate northeasterly winds. Despite the heat, the low humidity keeps sweat evaporating quickly and sometimes to be masking dehydration. And by evening, temperatures drop rapidly back to around 14 degrees, making the night feel noticeably cooler. Now, it's going to do you a lot of good if you moisturize and take water breaks throughout the day. And finally, we end today's forecast in Enugu as usual. Heat and humidity takes the center stage here today. The morning opens bright with patches of cloud as temperatures rise from 24 degrees Celsius to 31 degrees Celsius fairly quickly. And afternoon conditions become hot and humid, peaking around 34 degrees Celsius with about a 20% chance of light rain showers that may offer brief relief but also increase moisture in the air. The evening remains warm and mostly cloudy, with temperatures settling around 24 degrees as the surrounding hills continue to hold and release heat into the city basin. So make sure you take your water breaks seriously. Make sure you're properly hydrated at intervals. What am I even saying? Keep taking water. Where's your water bottle, Chike? You stop bringing them.
Hey, no, I have water in my office now. Come on. Man.
Okay, yes. Oh,
no, I think
Chike is no longer like me.
That advice is for you. Keep taking water, Esther.
Esther, keep taking water. I'm trying to put it inside my head because yes, I do have that problem. But yeah, I'm gonna take water throughout the day, and that is your weather report for today.
Yeah, that's a comprehensive.
Comprehensive, yes.
Emphasis on comprehensive because it's actually quite comprehensive. Thank you so much, Esther, for that comprehensive weather report. This is
you are welcome.
City, and of course, we're gonna go on a short musical break. When we come back, we'll look through our top 10 stories for today. Well, if you're just joining us, remember that we are here to help you navigate through the day. Stay locked, stay glued, and stay motivated, right?
Yeah. Stay motivated.
We'll be right back.
This is 106.9 Go Uni Radio, real station.
I'm a prisoner in a foreign land. I'm an alien in a foreign land, trying to find my feet, trying to make it work. Oh no, it's not that easy. Crazy situation, running from immigration, scared of deportation. But for how long? I've made my decision. Going to the motherland, nowhere be like home. Africa, 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 Africa. Hey, my Africa. Hey, my Africa. Hey, oh Africa, nowhere be like home. Africa, Africa.
Africa.
You know I'm a prisoner.
Africa.
All the way from Africa.
Africa.
I'm going back to the motherland.
Africa.
Where it's so natural.
Africa.
The land of milk and honey.
Africa. Africa.
Mama Africa.
Africa.
I can hear you calling.
Africa. Africa.
Hey, Africa. Africa. Africa.
Evolution begins here.
Allow me to reintroduce myself. My name is
Godfrey Okoye University Radio.
Blazing every street corner and block the urban evolution. Mixing the widest variety of your favorite music. They call me
Go Uni Radio.
106.9.
This is urban evolution.
All right, welcome back to Good Morning Core City right here on 106.9 FM Going to Radio, and that was African Dream by Flavor, and there's something about that song I love so much. It's just more
Tell
like
me.
a wake up call to us, for us to love the motherland. And yeah, we understand the Japa syndrome. We're all actually traveling to go and make ends meet, to to explore our potentials, and then explore our potentials in a stable economy, in a stable society. But thereafter, we still need to understand that we have it all in us. We have the collective responsibility to fix this continent, to fix our country. Because at the end of the day, we're still foreigners wherever we find ourselves.
And this is our home.
All right. This is time for us to go through our top 10 stories for today, as compiled by the pretty Esther. So, Esther?
All right, for the very first story this morning, Nigeria must get it right in 2027, and this is coming from Peter Obi. The presidential candidate of the Labour Party in the 2023 general election, Peter Obi, has appealed to Nigerians to join hands with him to rescue the country from decades of poor governance. The former Anambra State governor said Operation Rescue Nigeria is not for him as an individual, but for the collective future of generations who will bear the consequences of persistent bad governance. Speaking on Saturday in Uyo at the Obedient Conference and official declaration for the African Democratic Congress with the theme Activating the PO Effect in ADC, Obi urged Nigerians to set aside differences and unite to rescue the nation in the 2027 presidential elections. He emphasized the importance of election result transmission, adding that Nigeria must get it right in 2027. Election results must be transmitted online in real time, and whoever fails to transmit results will be transmitted. Democracy must work. I appeal to you to join hands with me to rescue this country. Obi explained that he left the Labour Party after it became clear that the Independent National Electoral Commission would not recognize its leadership and that the federal government did not want him on the ballot. I left the Labour Party when I got informed that as long as I remain in the party, INEC will not recognize its leadership and the federal government does not want me on the ballot. But I want to assure you that I will contest the coming election even if it is held in their bedroom. And if they don't want to transmit the result, we will transmit it for them, he said. He criticized the current administration for accumulating unprecedented loans, warning that future generations would bear the burden. What do you think about this, Chike?
Yeah, you should see me smiling now.
Because I don't transmit it in their bedroom.
Of course, now I like the fact that my oga is talking tough now, and that's exactly what we need. Because seriously, the thing is, we cannot fix this country playing cool when the very people who want to push out from the system are actually, playing against the rules.
Yeah.
So if you play against the rule, double up.
Yes. So.
But then nobody's calling for violence. Nobody's calling for this. But the thing is, we love the fact that I support the fact that he has to declare for presidency. We want him to be president. We believe in him. We believe that he has all it takes to fix this country. And then we are hopeful that INEC will be the independent umpire is supposed to be, to ensure that we have free, fair, credible election come 2027. Yes, I know that so many factors in the country right now. We saw what happened in 2023 and elections before that. But I believe that Nigerians are actually ready to.
I want to believe. We just need to keep standing our ground.
I want to believe that we are ready to stand and defend our votes.
And that's why Peter B is saying all these things, so that we can stand for fairness, transparency, accountability, and
of course I see what he said there, and I am convinced that he's actually speaking the minds of many Nigerians, because a lot needs to be fixed in this country, unfortunately.
Indeed.
All right, still on our top stories for today, we have National Assembly reconvenes tomorrow over 2027 election timetable. All right, the story has that the National Assembly will reconvene tomorrow, Tuesday, February 17, 2026, to deliberate on electoral issues arising from the recently announced timetable for the 2027 general elections by the Independent National Electoral Commission. Both the Senate and the House of Representatives had earlier adjourned plenary to February 20 to February 24 to attain to budget defense. However, the Senate reconvened last week for an emergency session to rescind its earlier decision rejecting electronic transmission of election results from polling units to INEC's results viewing portal IREV. Although a test to paragraph statement signed by the clerk to the National Assembly, Kamoru Ogunlana, did not state the reasons for the session, a separate release signed by the Chief of Staff to the Speaker of the House of Representatives, Professor Jake Dan Azumi, explained that lawmakers would reconsider aspects of the Electoral Amendment Bill, particularly the timeline for the publication of notice of elections by INEC.
Well, that's good. Yes, we know that this timetable gives Nigerians a roadmap to engage, prepare, and plan for elections and all the election processes. So, yes, it's important that we convene to give us that.
There's actually the concern that it's clashing with Ramadan. But then, when the Senate, when the National Assembly reconvenes, let's see what comes out of it. Actually,
that's right.
But then, at the end of the day, INEC followed the constitutional provision by announcing the timeline a year before the election proper happens. Well, Nigerians, fingers crossed, because this is the election. This is actually the campaign year. And,
so primary.
We have some off-cycle elections happening this year, actually. And then, let's fingers are crossed, and we are hopeful that the most important thing is for us Nigerians to be ready to vote
mentally and logistically
our votes.
That's
and
right.
Never fall victim of never be intimidated by talks, never be carried away with
or coerced.
Small rubbish.
Small rubbish they give you. Well, moving on to the next story this morning. Kwara attack. Government terror group differ on abducted victims. The Kwara State government and the Al-Sunnah terrorist group, which claimed responsibility for the February 3rd, 2026 attack in Woro and Nuku communities of Kayama local government area, have provided differing figures on the number of people kidnapped during the incident. While the Kwara government said that between 20 and 30 people were abducted in Woro, with several others killed, the group claimed it had taken not fewer than 176 individuals who remain in their custody. In a viral video circulated in the state on Saturday, Al-Sunnah paraded the kidnapped victims, stating that most were women and children from Kayama local government area. And responding to the video, Kwara State Commissioner for Communication, Mrs. Bolanle Olukoju, expressed concern for the safe return of the abducted victims. The Kwara State government is deeply concerned over the disturbing video released by the terrorists earlier today, allegedly showing some persons taken during the tragic February 3rd attack on Woro community. As always, our thoughts are with all the families affected, and we reaffirm our commitment to securing the safe return of all those impacted, Olukoju said. She added, "We acknowledge the anxiety that this footage may cause. Government officials and security agencies are carefully analyzing the video to establish the identities of the individuals shown. Since the incident, there have been varying accounts regarding the number of persons abducted. For this reason, neither the state government nor security agencies have announced a definitive figure." What do you think about this, Chike?
It's quite unfortunate that we found ourselves in this quagmire as a country. Just imagine the state government, the authorities, and criminals arguing how many people that were kidnapped.
They had to release a video. These terrorist people, they are so bold right now. These terrorists, my God,
they have been emboldened. Actually, looking at the lackadaisical, the lackluster attitude by authorities in nipping this to the bud. Of course, they'll be emboldened. Because every single day, every single week, we started this week again now. Very soon we'll read a story of new kidnappings that happened in Benue State. So a lot.
My heart goes out to those people who lost their loved ones. I mean,
I'm even tired of sending out condolence messages, seriously, because this country is just getting out of hand. But at the end of the day, it's just it's ridiculous that we're arguing with terrorists. Honestly. And how many people were kidnapped? Like, seriously.
Or trying to negotiate with them.
It's
crazy.
All right, still on our top stories for today. Ebonyi community seeks international probe into rights violations. All right, the story has it that The story has it that the Amasuri community in Afikpo local government area of Ebonyi State has petitioned international and national human rights bodies accusing Governor Francis Nwifuru of crimes against humanity, abuse of power, and violations of citizens' rights following a renewed boundary dispute with the Osa community of Eda. The petition, dated February 9, 2026, and submitted on behalf of the community by their lawyer, Edam Madwa Buchi, was addressed to the prosecutor of the International Criminal Court in The Hague, the United Nations Human Rights Council, the African Commission on Human and People's Rights, Amnesty International Nigeria, the National Human Rights Commission, the Chief of Defense Staff, the National Assembly, and the National Security Advisor. The community alleged that the governor ordered a military operation in Amasuri, during which soldiers carried out extrajudicial killings, destroyed homes, looted property, and removed ancestral artifacts and shut down schools, preventing children from registering for or sitting national examinations. It described the actions as collective punishment carried out without investigation or fair hearing. The community said the crisis stemmed from a long-running boundary dispute between the Amasuri and Osso communities, marked by cycles of retaliation over several generations. While acknowledging reports that about 4 persons were allegedly killed in Osso, the petitioner said Amasuri had consistently denied involvement and had previously filed multiple petitions with security agencies and the state government over attacks it claimed were carried out against its own people. The petition referenced the reported killing of a retired Nigerian Army warrant officer and his wife on their farmland in March 2025, an incident Amasuri believed was perpetrated by members of the Osso community. It also noted that the community filed a civil action seeking judicial determination of the disputed boundary, but later withdrew the case after the governor reportedly assured them he would personally resolve the matter. The petitioner alleged that following complaints from the Osso community about the recent killings, the governor reacted by removing government appointees from Amasuri, including traditional rulers, closing schools, and directing that no child from the area be registered for national examinations within the state. It further claimed that military operations intensified, with security personnel allegedly razing ancestral homes known as Ulogo, seizing sacred artifacts preserved for decades, and destroying property said to be worth billions of naira. The petition argued that even if individuals from Amasuri were involved in the alleged killings in Osso, criminal liability was individual and could not be attributed collectively to entire communities. No domestic or international law permits the punishment of civilians for unproven crimes, is stated. The petition also raised concern over a reported directive giving Amasuri 72 hours to recover the decapitated heads of the Osso victims or face further military action, describing the order as capable of causing grave and irreparable harm. Calling for urgent intervention, the petitioner urged authorities to allow school children to return to classrooms and participate in national examinations. He also sought that military personnel be withdrawn from Amasuri while seeking an impartial investigation to identify and prosecute those responsible for the killings in Osso. The petition requested that the ICC investigate alleged violations under Articles 7 and 8 of the Rome Statute, and urged the United States, the United Kingdom, the European Union, and Canada to consider visa restrictions against the governor. When contacted on Friday for a reaction, the Commissioner for Information, Ikowa Omebe, promised to respond on Saturday. He later said he was unavailable, citing prior commitments.
More these happenings in Ebonyi State is just tragic, and the fact that the citizens they don't even you just bypassed, should I say states and national.
Now the thing that what's going on in the Ebonyi State actually right now it's Amasuri and also community, and what's going on right now is an unfortunate thing because
it is.
I don't understand why two communities will be at war. There was a time we read this story. I was trying to explain to you how these communities are. They're very this close is just a stone throw. Like my house could be here, and then the next house in this community is just there, and then we see over the years, hatred passed on from generation to generation over rubbish. Okay, now look at the crux. The genesis of this issue is boundary dispute, land. one person's interest will be metamorphosed into community interest, and they see the whole community getting involved in the fight. And then this is where I also have to criticize the government on the way they handle some of these issues. Why don't we have establish critical investigative process? Why should you give a blanket punishment to a whole community? A whole community will be suffering for the actions of very few, and that is one thing that is unfortunate. That's the unfortunate thing that has actually been occurring in this country. It didn't start in Amasori, where we see government ordering soldiers to go into community and visit the community, go into the ground, just because of actions of few people. Even if it was a collective community thing that the community agreed, okay, we're going to go to war, which of course is not always the case. Why don't you fish out the leadership who, supervised, who oversaw that meeting, that arrangement? Why would you go against I don't understand how we do things,
and that's why they had to bypass national procedures and just go and ask for international intervention.
I know politically, based on geopolitics, geopolitics reality, nothing really will come out from this letter written to all these all these
international bodies and all
international bodies and rights bodies saddled with responsibility of protecting human rights. I know nothing really will come out from it, but the point is, these people are so helpless, and that's why they have to go to this extent of rights.
They really have lost faith.
We're using this platform to appeal to the state government. Please temper justice with mercy. Yes, go after the perpetrators. We're not saying release the criminals. There are criminals. Use intelligence to gather them. Call the community leaders. See, you have criminal elements amongst you. Stop protecting them. Bring them out.
Yes.
And then protect. And that's how you save the lives of all. Because look at the story that even people, children from the community, were prevented from registering for national exam outside the community. It's actually crazy, though.
That's crazy. We're moving on to our next story this morning. Electoral Act harmonization. Representatives under pressure to abandon compulsory e-transmission of results. Tension is rising in the national legislative arena as two chambers of the National Assembly meet today to take a common position on the method of election result transmission from polling centers to the Independent National Electoral Commission result portal. The 24-member committee, made up of 12 each from the Senate and House of Representatives, converged on NAS today to finalize their position on the controversial issue, which almost threw the chambers into chaos last week until the senators summoned an emergency meeting to assuage Nigerians with a slightly different position from what they had earlier adopted. But ahead of the meeting, intense lobbying as to which version of the proposed amendment should be adopted has begun in earnest, sparking the potential of the lawmakers taking a position dictated by the All Progressives Congress (APC), which controls both chambers of NAS. Findings by Vanguard in Abuja revealed strong indications that the adoption of the Senate version of Section 60, subsection 3 of the Electoral Act, which provides for both electronic and manual transfer of election results, is being vigorously pursued by the ruling party. This, it was gathered, is to align with what some argue was in line with the interests of the APC. It was gathered that the APC leadership appears more comfortable with the Senate's version, which allows for some flexibility in electronic transmission of election results. This version includes a caveat that could potentially create loopholes, unlike the House version, which is seen as more rigid and potentially favor the opposition. The Senate version removes the real-time requirement, allowing presiding officers to transmit results at their discretion, and designates manual form EC8A as the primary source in case of communication failure. In contrast, the House version mandates real-time electronic transmission, which civil society groups and opposition parties argue substantially reduces opportunities for manipulation, thus increasing transparency. For many Nigerians, fear the Senate version of the bill could lead to manipulation. For instance, the former chairman of the Inter-Party Advisory Committee, IPAC, Chief Peter Ame, while speaking on the issue, said the recent revision by the Nigerian Senate to Clause 60, subsection 3 of the Electoral Act Amendment Bill, which now permits the electronic transmission of election results from each polling unit, only provided the system does not fail, which represents nothing more than cosmetic tinkering with the existing law. There is no meaningful difference between this so-called revised clause and the previous ambiguous provision. The Senate has merely introduced a conditional escape hatch that guarantees continued confusion, manipulation, and distrust in our electoral process. What do you think, Chike?
It's obvious, man. It's obvious. Because, see, there's something I will say happening with this argument about this electronic transmission. Compulsory, because it has to be compulsory. Compulsory election transmission of results. See, what Senate did is just a mockery of the whole thing. Because it can't just keep leave two options open, and then you know the second option is what you guys want. You just left it open.
They're just trying to make it ambiguous so that they can easily manipulate it.
Exactly. I just see this thing as a fight between good and evil. If you are against compulsory electronic transmission of election results, you are an evil person.
Yes.
And then, mind you, in every given society, see, it's not just Nigerian thing. It's not just an African thing. Politicians are always mischievous. They always want to manipulate the system
every time.
They always want, because power is what everybody's pursuing. The idea of politics, the whole concept of politics, is to manipulate whatever thing you have to manipulate to get power at all means. So that's why it is left for us as citizens to ensure that we don't allow these people manipulate us. We don't allow these people manipulate the system, because when they manipulate the system and always have their way, whenever they do these things, they cannot be answerable to you. You can't hold them to account. That's and they cannot work for you. So I see this thing as, you see, whoever is against compulsory electronic transmission of result is an evil person.
Yes.
And we should treat them as
and
evil
that's
person.
On period.
I just hope Nigerians will wake up to this consciousness that Baba, you are evil, and then we'll just see you as a devil that we need to fight with the last drop of our blood.
That's right. Wow.
All right, still on our top stories for today, we have 10 abducted in fresh Benue terrorist attack, 9 worshippers rescued. All right, the story has it that tension remains high along the Benue-Taraba border following the abduction of a businesswoman and 9 other passengers along the Takum-Donga-Castina Road in Castinala local government area. In Castinala local government area. The victims were reportedly kidnapped on February 9th, 2026, around 10 a.m. at a settlement identified as Sede while traveling from Takum in Taraba State to Todonga Market, a major commercial hub. Family sources identified the abducted woman as a grain dealer, describing the incident as traumatic. My aunt, a businesswoman, was kidnapped along with about 10 other passengers since the incident. There has been no communication from the abductors, and today marks 1 week, a relative said. In a related development, 9 worshippers abducted during a night vigil at St. John's Catholic Church, Ojije, Utonkon, in Ado local government area, have regained their freedom following coordinated security operations. The victims taken a week ago during a midnight prayer session were released on Saturday evening unharmed. Confirming the release, the Benue State Police Command said the rescue resulted from joint operations involving the command and sister security agencies.
Well, guys, insecurity is still on the rise. It is still on the rise. I'm glad, yes, that the worshippers, they regain their freedom, but these other people, these other 10 people who, they have not even heard anything from their abductors.
You know, when they say they regain their freedom, one of the details that is missing there is how exactly were they released? Did they pay ransom? But you know now,
they said it's still coordinated.
That's what they always write, coordinated. But at the end of the day, you see that ransom were paid, and then the ideal thing should be they were released. After conditions were met. It's unfortunate.
Moving on to the next story this morning. Cross River Police bust massive Japa scam and rescue 100 victims. The Nigeria Police Force Zone 6 headquarters in Calabar has successfully dismantled a major kidnapping and Japa job scam syndicate operating in Cross River State, rescuing over 100 victims and rejecting a bribe of 50 million intended to derail the investigation. According to a statement issued on February 14th, 2026 by the Zonal Public Relations Officer Jefferson Anisma, The operation was executed by the Zonal Criminal Investigation Department following credible intelligence on the activities of the criminal network. The statement said, the syndicate specialized in deceiving unsuspecting Nigerians, particularly youth seeking opportunities abroad. They used psychological coercion, persuading victims to sell personal property and surrender their life savings under the pretense of securing visas, foreign citizenship, or lucrative employment overseas. The Assistant Inspector General of Police in charge of Zone 6, Awal Musa Mohammed, directed the Deputy Commissioner of Police in charge of ZCID, Udu Moses Ogechi, to take decisive action. Acting on the directive, ZCID operatives launched a coordinated raid at about 6 a.m. on February 14th, dismantling what the police described as an organized criminal enterprise. Investigations revealed that the syndicate exploited the popular Japa trend, persuading victims to resign from jobs, dispose of valuable assets, and transfer substantial sums of money. And instead of facilitating their travel abroad, victims were lured to designated locations within the Cross River State where they were psychologically manipulated and financially incapacitated. Some were coerced into recruiting additional targets to sustain the operation. Chike, just express how you feel about this new story.
Nigerians are desperate. Everyone wants to travel abroad.
My goodness.
Like, things are quite very hard in the country. There's intensified poverty. People are on the increase. There's an increase of people going back to trenches. Like people are suffering in the country. And when we get to that level, there will be high level of vulnerability.
Of course, people want to leave.
So you don't need too much to convince people that okay, I have these things for you to job. And then people can go to any extent. For them to go, find, grab the opportunity to leave the shores of this country, even if it means taking them to Burkina Faso, even if it means taking them to Ivory Coast, they don't mind anything outside Nigeria.
Anything else. Oh God,
that's how
desperate and frustrated Nigerians are.
It's unfortunate, actually.
It's well with our country.
All right, still on our top stories. Tinubu condoles Kano traders over Singa market inferno. Others fire probe. All right, the story has it that President Bola Tinubu has commiserated with traders and the people of Kano State over a devastating fire that ravaged the Singa market over the weekend. The inferno broke out Saturday evening and raged until Sunday morning, wreaking havoc on the key food market and destroying shops stocked with goods. Tinubu, who reached out directly to Kano State Governor Abba Kabir Yusuf for a situation report, described the blaze as tragic. He expressed particular alarm that it occurred less than 2 weeks after another fire gutted dozens of shops at the same venue. In a statement by Special Advisor on Information and Strategy Bayo Onanuga, President directed a comprehensive investigation into the causes of the market fires, which often leave traders in despair.
This is really tragic, and it's sad that this has happened before. It already happened before, and there are no precautionary measures taken. And also, many people lost their livelihoods, right? This is a very sad event, and I think they don't just need condolences, and they don't just need that. They need support from the government, and of course, like I said earlier, they need precautionary measures to be put in place to make sure this doesn't happen again in future.
Of course, you're very right on that, and then I just hope that they'll get all the support they can get.
Yes, right. Now, for the next story this morning, we are victims of systematic corruption. Kuje inmates cry out. Over 100 inmates at the Kuje Correctional Center, Abuja, have cried out over alleged acts of systematic corruption and extortion perpetrated against them by officials of the custodial facility. Already, the Comptroller General of Nigeria Correctional Services, Mr. Sylvester Nwakuchi, has ordered an immediate investigation of the allegations. The allegations were contained in a petition by an Abuja-based legal practitioner, Bala Dakum, on behalf of the inmates, which was addressed to the Attorney General of the Federation and Minister of Justice, Lateef Fagbemi, who is the Senior Advocate of Nigeria, the Minister of Interior, Olubunmi Tunjiojo, and the Comptroller General of the Nigeria Correctional Services. The petition dated February 11th and received by the NCOs on the same date specifically alleged that the comptroller in charge of the Kuje Correctional Center and his officials were involved in systematic extortion of the inmates. He listed the alleged corruption and fraudulent activities to include unlawful payments forced on the inmates for some basic rights and services, especially medical attention, humane treatment, and movement within the facility. The Comptroller General of the Nigeria Correctional Service, Wakuche, who confirmed receipt of the petition, has assured that the allegations, which constitute gross misconduct, will be thoroughly investigated. It is worth mentioning that similar allegations of corruption, bribery, and extortion have trailed the Kuje facility for years, dating back to 2017. In a petition, the affected inmates called on the Comptroller General to carry out an independent and thorough investigation into the allegations against the officers and to mete out appropriate punishment to erring officers. I am a solicitor to over 100 inmates in Kuje Correction Center, Abuja. In my capacity as a legal practitioner and concerned stakeholder in the administration of justice system, I hereby petition you. It is with deep sense of responsibility that I write on behalf of my clients to formally bring to your attention a series of grave allegations bordering on abuse of office, corruption, and gross misconduct against the comptroller in charge of the Kuje Correctional Center, Abuja, and his aides. What do you think about this, Chike?
Yeah, it's embarrassing that we are getting this level of accusation from inmates. Yeah, I know as a prisoner, as an inmate in a correctional facility, the cardinal rights that you don't have is freedom of movement. Because you're a prisoner, you're
leaving the facility,
of course, but you're a human being with all other basic rights.
Of course, you have the right to humane treatment.
That's the point. And prison officials taking advantage of a flawed system to extort prisoners is something that we shouldn't condone.
And this is Nigeria, guys. This is not the first time we're hearing about police brutality behind cells, or just when it does bring you in, they begin to take you through a series of torment, let me put it that way. And it's really sad that these are people we are supposed to trust, people who are supposed to correct. They're now the people who are now showing us how to bribe, do all these illicit activities. But I'm sure that the Comptroller General will do something about this. I hope his investigations bring out good results.
Of course. All right. To wrap up our top stories for today, we are looking at the last story. Iran in talks with Nigeria for World Cup warm-up friendly. The story has it that Iran are considering Nigeria as one of their potential opponents for an international friendly match as preparations gather pace for the 2026 FIFA World Cup. Iran's football authorities are finalizing arrangements for pre-tournament fixtures and have identified the Super Eagles as possible opposition. According to the Tehran Times, Iran's governing body is close to confirming its schedule, noting that the Football Federation of Iran is expected to officially announce Team Melli's friendly match scheduled as preparation intensified for the 2026 FIFA World Cup. The report adds that discussions have already been opened with Nigeria and another CONCACAF nation.
Well, football is still a thing of pride, yes. Well, for Nigeria this year, we are still not sure if we're going to be...
And we are not going anywhere, that's the point. We're not going anywhere. And we can't go to the World Cup through the back door. So whatever the petition we've submitted and all this thing, we're not going anywhere. We didn't qualify.
But there's still an eligibility protest against DR Congo. So if they are dropped...
You should say, nothing will happen. We're not dropping anywhere. We're not going anywhere. But then,
we're looking forward to...
Unfortunately, we're going to watch the World Cup without Nigeria.
Again.
And it would be so awesome. It would have been so awesome to watch Nigeria at the world stage. But unfortunately, we didn't qualify. And that's it.
Sadly, guys. Well, that's all we have for you guys this morning. I'm sure you had fun with us this morning. I'm sure you have been informed, enlightened, and motivated. I know some of our headlines were devastating and tragic, but I'm sure at least the morning motivation, I hope it had its effect on you. Well, that's all we have for this morning.
Yeah, and the morning motivation had serious effect on me because I was a bit down in spirit when I came, but hearing Esther rekindle the spirit for me to go out for me to do the incredible today. Thank you so much, Esther.
You're welcome.
And thank you so much for compiling the top 10 stories for today.
Well, guys, always my pleasure. Always, every day.
All right, see you same time tomorrow. Remember, you can always join us live on YouTube at Going Radio 1069 FM and on Facebook and Instagram at 1069 Going Radio. And of course, you're going to see myself and the pretty lady with the golden voice, Esther, in the house. See you same time tomorrow. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
The first Go Uni Radio.